What's good? It's Woog. I don't know if this fight is going to be competitive, but I do know it's going to be one hell of a spectacle. We have Tyson Fury, 33 wins, 0 losses, and 1 draw, taking on Francis Ngannou, who does not have one professional boxing fight, but whose MMA record as it stands is 17 wins and 3 losses. Now, this is actually a pro boxing fight. So this is Francis Ngannou's pro debut. This isn't technically classified as an exhibition. In fact, this is scheduled for 10 rounds. 10 rounds of boxing for Francis Ngannou. This is a little bit surreal. I mean, we often talk about, different exhibitions taking place, different pro fights where you've got a boxer versus an MMA fighter. We've seen different instances of this. We had Anderson Silva versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And most famously, we had Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. But in this case, I think what is drawing the ire of a lot of hardcore boxing fans is that there is still business to be had for Tyson Fury. You've got Alexander Usyk holding 3 of the 4 heavyweight titles, undefeated, former undisputed cruiserweight champ who now has 3 of the heavyweight belts. Usyk and the boxing community desperately wants to see title unification. In fact, battle for undisputed between Tyson Fury, who still has the WBC heavyweight title, versus Alexander Usyk. So this Fury versus Ngannou fight getting in the way of that. Yes, it is annoying a lot of boxing fans, but in the meantime, Usyk fought a competitive fight against Daniel Dubois, still came out of that one with the belts undefeated, although there was some controversy in a borderline low blow that was ruled low. Usyk sank, was given several minutes to recover, got up and ended up whooping on Daniel Dubois. But with Tyson Fury, he's still an undefeated fighter. You would have to think he's on the tail end of his, at least of the prime version of his career. I mean, he's 35 years old right now, and Francis Ngannou's not any spring chicken either. He's actually 37 years old. So you can't really be too mad at either guy for taking this opportunity to cash the hell out and to make who knows how much money they're going to end up making with, pay-per-view considered and all that. And this comes on the heels of Francis Ngannou parting ways with the UFC while he's at the very peak of his earning potential. He walks away from the company with the heavyweight title and ends up signing a very lucrative deal with the PFL. But instead of then competing in a mixed martial arts fight, here he is fighting the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. So there are all kinds of wild variables in this one. And not to mention, Francis Ngannou for this fight is being trained by Mike Tyson, who is actually Tyson Fury's namesake. So there's all types of coincidence and irony here. But instead of doing my typical fight breakdown where I'm analyzing, the careers of both fighters and looking at the mat, what I'm going to do for this one, since Tyson Fury is an extraordinarily big favorite in this fight, right? It's almost unbettable if you were going to bet on Tyson Fury because the odds are so lopsided. I mean, it's almost worth just putting some, oh, what the hell, type of little bit of money on Francis Ngannou just in case he does the unthinkable. But what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to give you what I would consider to be a potential recipe for success if I was to be training Francis Ngannou, or at least advising Ngannou for this fight. Because again, it's almost not worth going into a typical, pro level boxer versus pro level boxer. Let's look at the X's and O's in this thing type of breakdown. So yeah, I'm going to say what I think Francis Ngannou would need to do to even have a chance at beating Tyson Fury. Now, one of the things to consider here is that Tyson Fury does have a potential fight with Usyk on the other end of this fight. So Tyson Fury would be best served coming out of this fight with no sustained injuries, like big injuries, no really bad cuts that is going to put him on the sideline for several months, and obviously not a loss. Now, the title is not up for grabs in this fight. This is a non-title pro boxing fight. So he's not going to lose his title, but if he loses the fight, then I mean, damn, that does play a big spoiler, and it just turns everything in the fight game upside down if Ngannou does pull this off. But humor me here. If I was to train Francis Ngannou, one of the first things that I would encourage, because he's not going to win a tit for tat boxing match, behind a jab and, looking for your opportunities, feint, jab, right hand. He's not going to win that type of a fight. If anything, he's going to be stuck in first gear, Ngannou trying to figure out how to get on the inside of Fury's jab. So that's rule number one. He's going to have to find out how to close the distance here, because he does have a significant reach. He's got a 83-inch reach. Ngannou does. Tyson Fury has an 85-inch reach. Tyson Fury's 6'9". Ngannou is 6'4". And for some context on Ngannou's reach, he's got the exact same reach, at least on paper, as Deontay Wilder, who never beat Tyson Fury. He dropped him twice in 2 different fights, but his record coming out of that trilogy with Wilder's was 0 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. The first fight was a draw. The second and third were stoppage and knockout stoppage wins for Tyson Fury. But Ngannou and Deontay Wilder have the same reach. So that should be a somewhat encouraging sign for Ngannou in a way, because Deontay Wilder did find those opportunities to land big crushing shots on Tyson Fury. It's just that Tyson Fury has a tremendous chin and was able to get up from 4 knockdowns at the hands of the bronze bomber Deontay Wilder. But Deontay Wilder also has 3 inches in height over Francis Ngannou. So if I was Mike Tyson advising Francis Ngannou, first of all, Francis Ngannou cannot pull off the quintessential Mike Tyson style here. So I hope that Mike Tyson isn't teaching Francis Ngannou how to be Mike Tyson. Francis Ngannou just doesn't have the low center of gravity, the upward explosiveness, the legs, or more specifically, knees. Now, Francis Ngannou's last MMA fight was against Cyril Gane, who, and this is going to be relevant here, Cyril Gane for the first couple of rounds was actually outboxing, kickboxing Ngannou, and just ironically, Ngannou had to resort to ground techniques and grappling and wrestling to pull off a decision win against Cyril Gane. That's the same Cyril Gane that recently challenged John Jones when John Jones finished him in the first round. But Cyril Gane is one of the best on stand-up technicians in the UFC or in all of mixed martial arts. So Cyril Gane was actually getting the better of Ngannou in the stand-up. That's not good news for Ngannou here. And Ngannou was battling a bad knee injury in that fight. Ngannou has since had surgery on that knee, so maybe he's back to 100%. But I can't assume that. I'm going into this fight thinking that Ngannou might still have some knee issues. So he couldn't pull off a Mike Tyson style anyway, but he damn sure can't do that when it requires such a low crouch and athletic legs. So at, again, 37 years old with potentially a bad knee, Ngannou, in my view, is going to have to change up the punch sequencing. I feel like whether you're talking mixed martial arts or boxing, but mixed martial arts a little bit less so, and I'll explain why. Boxing, I feel like too many people, even at the pro level, they alternate their punches. They'll throw a left, right, left. They'll throw like a left jab, right, straight, right hand, and a left hook. So that'll be like a 1, 2, 3, to where defensively, boxers can kind of roll and anticipate that in their sleep. Tyson Fury specifically, he knows how to roll. He knows how to feint you out of motion, where he's going to get you to, he's going to do a lot of this to get you to throw a punch, and then he's going to put a jab or something on top of your punch to counter that. So Tyson Fury is not going to get tricked with the typical 1, 2, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3. You're going to have to either feint him out of position, get him to react to a feint, and then throw something on top of that. Or in the case of Francis Ngannou, I really think that he needs to double up and triple up with the same hand so that you throw off and disrupt that whole left, right, left, right, left, right sequence that most fighters will give you. So I'm talking double or triple jab. So you move in, because as you're jabbing, you're moving in with your feet, closing the distance. So keep this hand up, go 1, 2, 3 as you close the distance, or even throw 1, 2, 2, 3, but those 2 and the 3 with that same right hand. Now, Francis Ngannou does have a bomb of a right hand, and he's got a bomb of a left hook, at least by MMA standards. We've got to see how effective his punching is with boxing gloves on. I mean, I've heard fighters vouch for his power, and look, his punching power is undeniable, but what's that going to look like speed-wise, explosiveness-wise, effectiveness-wise with those boxing gloves on? And how will Ngannou react to Tyson Fury's boxing style? Again, I suspect that Ngannou's going to have trouble even getting out of first gear. I think that Ngannou might look pretty stymied like he did against Derek Lewis. That was after his loss to Stipe Miocic, which he later avenged a couple years later. But there was that very horrifically boring fight between Ngannou and Derek Lewis, where the crowd was booing for half of the fight, where they were both basically just looking at each other, feinting, circling, throwing jabs that had no intention of landing. It was one of the most unexpectedly uneventful fights between the knockout artist Francis Ngannou versus knockout artist Derek Black Beast Lewis. So if Ngannou couldn't get out of first gear against Lewis, how is he going to feel comfortable enough getting in range as he starts getting tagged by Tyson Fury? So yeah, I don't know how he's going to react to just getting peppered, especially if he can't reliably land a punch. That does a lot to a fighter's psychology when the opponent can land almost at will and you can't land hardly anything against that opponent. That does a lot. The fighters stop opening up at a certain point. You could just look at a lot of Floyd Mayweather fights, see these, very devastating punchers and very tough fighters start to look super confused, start to just do a lot of head movement and a lot of just moving in place, wasted energy. Look at Shane Mosley in the second half of his fight against Floyd Mayweather. So yeah, I think that this fight is going to come down to how nice Tyson Fury wants to be to Ngannou. Is Tyson Fury going to treat this like a professional boxing fight? Because if he does, then Ngannou's chances are pretty microscopic here. But again, if for him to have any chance at all, I would say triple with the same hand, just so Tyson Fury might slip or roll or evade the first one, but eat the second one or the third one if you come in with an unexpected punch pattern. So if you throw a left hook, just throw a second left hook on top of that. Don't go left hook, right hand, left hand. Don't do that. Go left hook, left hook. And if you are this crafty, throw the first left hook at half speed, throw the second left hook at full strength. Do the same thing with the right hand. Maybe just kind of paw, throw a jab, do different things, feint, and make sure if you are out of range and you can't touch Fury, make sure you yourself are way out of range so you're not just eating these long jabs and right hands from Tyson Fury. Or, Fury could also switch to southpaw. But make sure that if you are out of range, or rather Fury's out of range from getting hit by you, make sure that you are also out of range from getting hit by Fury. But when you do start to move in range, you can either do it behind doubling up on a jab, or if you throw a right hand, throw that first right hand at half speed and then throw the second right hand with a lot more oomph into it. Give him a false sense of security. Throw a little bit of trickery. Throw some little pawing. Not every punch has to be a swing for the fences, meaningful punch. Sometimes when you pepper in meaningless or, hey, look at this type of punches to disrupt or distract the opponent, and then you disguise the meaningful punches within that might actually give you a chance at hitting Tyson Fury. Because if you're trying something conventional, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, those types of punch sequences I don't see working against the Gypsy King. So yeah, you're gonna have to get pretty unorthodox. You can even just throw your hip in a way where it looks like you're about to throw a leg kick. Don't get disqualified and throw a leg kick, but do something. Just do different things movement wise to give Tyson Fury something to look at. Sometimes when boxers are having trouble getting anything going, sometimes you'll see them start to do this with their hands. You saw Zab Judah do that after he stopped having success against Floyd Mayweather. But do different things. Even KSI for as bad as a fight as that was against Tommy Fury, even KSI with his weird style in those first couple of rounds was giving Tommy Fury some issues. He's like, what, Tommy Fury didn't really know how to react to it. So maybe do something totally unorthodox. Just make sure that if you start lunging in, that you don't lunge into a Tyson Fury punch, because I know that Ngannou is the one with the power punching reputation here, but make no mistake, Tyson Fury could damn well knock Ngannou out. In fact, that is very, very likely. I'm going to go ahead and pick Fury via stoppage. I would say probably via, sixth to eighth round stoppage. I would be surprised if this goes into the ninth round. I don't even think that Ngannou has the gas to go 10 boxing rounds. Again, he's 37 years old. And if you look at his fight with Stipe, yes, that was like 5 years ago, 2018. Look at how gassed he was. Yes, that was mostly Stipe taking him down and wrestling him. And to Ngannou's credit, he did win that 5-rounder against Cyril Gane, which was in Anaheim, California, my hometown. But I don't expect him to have boxing stamina into the middle and late rounds. So I think that Fury's probably going to be able to finish him somewhere between round 6 through 8, maybe even, round 5, somewhere in there, 5 through 8 maybe. But again, if Ngannou's going to have any sort of a chance here, I think he's really going to have to mix up specifically the punch sequencing, namely doubling and tripling up with the same hand. And if you are having any success with those doubling and tripling with the same hand, then start to look at Tyson Fury's tendencies. What side is he leaning to? Because it's almost like catching a fly with chopsticks, so it's very difficult. But try to look at the side that Fury has a tendency to lean to. If you start throwing with a certain hand, is he just going to be leaning back and leaning against the ropes, trying to stay out of range? Now, I don't expect Tyson Fury to be spending much time on the ropes, because that just gives Ngannou a greater chance at success. But start looking at what side he's going to be leaning back to and try to position your punch where his head might go, not where it is in the moment, especially not with the first or second punch of a combination. Don't punch where you see his head. If his head is right here, punch this way. Or what you'll see Fury do is sometimes he'll kind of throw like a wide shot, like a wide, almost looping shot, but that's only a decoy. He's guiding you into his power hand. So he'll throw like kind of like a lazy looking wide sweeping left hook to get your head to move that way, so he can position a right hand right there. I expect Fury to actually drill Francis Ngannou with some right hands, and I think that will eventually lead to finishing the fight, especially as Ngannou tires. But yeah, he's got a very, very tiny chance of success in this one. But hey, he does have some power. I just think that it's going to be very difficult for him to get in range, especially if he's still struggling at all with a knee injury. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou. If Francis Ngannou is going to have any success, what do you think he should do? Should he go to Fury's body? I would say, yeah, open up to Fury's body. Yeah, I mean, Otto Wallin had success to Tyson Fury's body. Deontay Wilder in their third fight had some success in jabbing to Tyson Fury's body. So yes, maybe early in the fight and, try to, anytime you can, sustain a body attack. Maybe even start, try to position maybe 50% or nearly 50% of your punches to the body. The danger in throwing to the body is that you open yourself up for Tyson Fury's counters. So there is that. You could make it a quick night for Fury if you get caught while you're kind of reaching for Fury's body, because there's an art to throwing punches to the body. If you keep your chin out there and you're leaning with a jab to the body, you're going to get drilled. So you've got to do things footwork wise and feint wise to get in position to even start throwing punches to the body. But yeah, mix it up. Don't be predictable. Throw to the body, throw strange punches, throw weird sequences. Again, throw 2 or 3 left hooks in a row to Fury's body. Do everything you can to disrupt his comfort. It's the only chance you have. But yeah, I'm taking Fury via 5th through 8th, 6th through 8th round stoppage. But let me know your thoughts on Fury versus Ngannou in the comments. Does Fury win this? unscathed? Does he come out of this fight without cuts, without injuries, without anything that would, you know, much further delay a Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk matchup? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are into the fight talk. I'm Woog. Thanks for tuning in.